Welcome to the Real Estate Espresso Podcast, your morning shot of what's new in the world of real estate investing. I'm your host, Victor Menashe. We've got a very special show today. It's the weekend edition. We're coming to you live on location from Lorient in France. Yesterday, we interviewed Sam Davies from Initiative Coeur. She's sailing around the world in the Vendee Globe coming up next year. And on today's show, we're interviewing one of the team members from Team Malizia, another of the Vendee Globe boats, this one representing the Yacht Club of Monaco. Malizia is a name that actually dates back to 1297 when Francesco Grimaldi, gentleman from Genova, moved to Monaco. And in the language of Monaco at that time, it's a term that was used to mean the wily one. This is a term that's tied to the Grimaldi family dating back to 1297, and they have a hand in putting this race boat out into the sea. My guest today is Stu McLaughlin from Team Malizia, and we have a great show. But first, a quick chat about goal setting. Goal setting is one of the most important aspects to achieving anything in life. If you don't know where you're going, you might end up someplace else. I'd like to invite you to join me for 3 days on the Mexican Riviera for an intensive goal-setting retreat so that you start your 2020 with energy, purpose, focus, and momentum. The annual goal-setting retreat will take place over the first weekend in December on the beautiful Mexican Riviera. Registration will open up on July 31st. If you're interested in learning more, send an email to goals@victorjm.com, and you'll be among the first to have the opportunity to join me in Mexico. We keep these retreats small and intimate. This event will sell out. Send an email to goals@victorjm.com. That's goals@victorjm.com. So we are back here on the weekend edition. We have a very special episode. We're here in Lorient in France, really the sailing capital of the world, and we've got a very special edition. I'm here with Stu McLaughlin from New Zealand, and we're aboard a boat called Team Malizia. This is a boat representing the Yacht Club of Monaco. It's a very special boat and is scheduled to go in the Vendee Globe next year, about to go in the Fastnet race and just coming up next week. And so welcome to the show, Stu.
Thank you.
So Stu, talk to us a little bit about the IMOCA class, the IMOCA 60. It's a very special boat. What's it all about?
It's exciting. It's a box roll. It's not the one design or anything like that. So, and with the foiling coming along now, it's making it a lot more exciting, a lot faster. I think it's just an awesome class to be involved in.
What is the path from, say, growing up sailing in Optimist or Lasers to sailing at this elite level? What's been your journey?
My journey, started in the Optimist, then into what we have in New Zealand, flying ants and sunbursts, so learning to sail again classes, and then into the skiffs, 12-foot skiffs and stuff like that, plus sailing 40-footers and other keelboat classes around Auckland, or around New Zealand, and a lot in Auckland as well, and then just wanting to do it. I just wanted to go offshore, and so I got a chance, so I took it.
I love that. Let's talk a little bit about the business side of sailing. I mean, unless your name is Rothschild, like the boat next door here, most boats are looking for sponsorship. Certainly the Grimaldi family that's behind this boat is part of it. But who are some of the sponsors, and how do you go about getting sponsorship?
Getting the sponsors takes a lot of work, a lot of time and effort. We have Holly and Boris, who's a skipper. They're both out looking for sponsors and talking to people all the time, trying to get more money. To further our development and what we can do with the boat leading up to the Vendee and making it more successful.
One of the things that is, AJ Foyt talked about, he's a race car driver in the United States. He won the Indianapolis 500 many times. He said all cars have a lot of speed in them. The art isn't getting the speed out of them. And I think that's probably true in these as well. You're working under sleep deprivation type conditions. You're working against the weather and things that are going against you. What's that all about? What's that like?
It's true, and those words are very true. You are always trying to get more speed out of the boat, find more comfortable ways to sail it, which comes down to speed as well, and reliability. We've got to have the boat reliable for going non-stop around the world, solo. Sleep deprivation, it can come into it a lot with, it's only solo sailing, so you have to manage how much physical work you do on the boat, in regards to stacking and trimming, and constantly, you can't be awake 24/7, so you've got to manage that, and that comes down to a lot of time and effort, and knowing your limits as well as a skipper, being able to do X amount, and keep the boat safe and ripping along. as best you can in the conditions.
We're here in the Bay of Biscay, and the Bay of Biscay has a tremendous reputation of being a graveyard for centuries. You know, you've got wind and current often in opposing directions, creating very steep square wave type conditions, making for very lumpy, uncomfortable sailing. How much of your weather forecasting comes into planning a route, apart from just looking at the wind?
A huge amount. It's... Yeah, you look at the weather, again, like you just said, the wind and waves, due to tide, etc. It plays a huge amount of where you go, and you could do a big circuit to get to where you want to go. You know, you might only be 200 miles across the bay, but the fastest way to get there could be 300 miles to go round. Go with the systems, weather systems, taking tide into account, so you're not going against the tide too much. All these sorts of things there, yeah, and preserving the boat. If you, like you said, in the big waves, you don't want to just keep banging and crashing and breaking gear.
You know, we've noticed here the currents in particular coming into the harbor are really strong. In fact, one day we were literally running at half speed because we were going counter current, and we were going, "What's wrong with the boat? Is the hull dirty? Like, what's going on?" And we couldn't figure it out. And then we looked at the tide chart and said, "Oh, that's the issue."
Yeah, very much so, and it's not just here in the Bay of Biscay. It's a global thing. You've got to look at it and take into account the tides, make them work for you wherever possible, and try not to punch them into them too hard.
What's been the best part of being part of Team Malizia?
Sailing, being out on the boat sailing. Yeah, it's always great fun.
I love it. Well, great luck this coming weekend at Fastnet. I know there's going to be a ton of boats registered. I think over 350 boats participating in the race. Who's your competition this weekend?
The IMOCAs. There's lots of them here, and there'll be 28 registered for the start of the Fastnet race. So, yeah, it's all of them.
I love it. So for the listeners at home, this is bit of a different weekend edition. We're here amongst some of the most elite sailors in the world, and it's just such a great opportunity. If you haven't been to Lorient, definitely come out here and check out the sites. It's quite an amazing site just to see the boats, to meet with the teams. And in the meantime, have an awesome rest of your weekend. Go make some great things happen. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.